What's up, Packer fans? Back again. Here we are after a disappointing 8-9 2022 NFL season for the Packers. The question is, what is Aaron Rodgers going to do? Where's he going to go? Again, for like the third year in a row, we're wondering if he's coming back, if he wants to get traded, or if he's going to retire. And so for now, he is under contract with the Packers, so we do have rights to him. He will have to be traded if he doesn't want to come back to Green Bay. If the Packers don't want him, if they want to move on with Love, that is the question. It's going to be a mutual agreement. Both parties are going to have to want to be back, want him back, want to be back, things like that. But what it comes down to in the very end is if the Packers want him, does Aaron Rodgers want to be here? And then if he doesn't want to play at all, is he going to retire, which means nothing will happen. But I think Rodgers feels like he's got something left in the tank. And if the Packers say, hey, we want to move on with Jordan Love, then Aaron Rodgers will definitely be like, okay, I want to play. Maybe he'll want an opportunity to play against the Packers. But I think for him, what would be more important would be an opportunity to win the Super Bowl. So it comes down to what teams would he likely want to go to. And Joe Namath thinks that the Jets would be the team, and he is willing to have his number 12 unretired. The number 12 that won the Super Bowl against the Baltimore Colts, Super Bowl III in 1968 or whatever. It must have been 69 when they actually won the Super Bowl that January. But the 68 season, crazy to think about that long ago. But Joe Namath's number 12 would have to be unretired if Rodgers really wanted it that bad. I don't even know if that's a thing or if they could do that, but still, Rodgers' ego would make it so he needed to wear the number 12. But why would Rodgers even want to go to New York to play with the Jets? The Jets have always been, kind of an underdog team, or the team that drafts near the top because they had a poor season. A few good years with Mark Sanchez over the years, but all in all, they missed the playoffs again this year, and it's kind of been a trend the last decade or so. So why would Rodgers want to go there? So with Mike LaFleur being the offensive coordinator, that's Matt LaFleur's brother. That's a little bit of a connection there. That's not a main connection, obviously. It does help things a little bit when it comes to the trade pieces and just kind of having a relationship with that team. But New York City, obviously, huge market. Biggest market there is with Los Angeles. But New York's even bigger. The press is bigger. The media is bigger. All those things. So for Rodgers, for his brand, for all, just money-wise, facial recognition, all those different, all those things that Rodgers cares so much about, the media attention, things like that, he'll get all that in New York for sure. That's not a question. And then it comes down to, is the team something that Rodgers is looking at? Is it going to be a situation like Tom Brady had when he went to Tampa, where all they were missing was the quarterback, and you just plug the quarterback in and now this team can win? The Jets, Joe Flacco, Mike White, Zach Wilson, just not the quarterbacks you really want to go into the NFL season with. They tried. It didn't work out for them. Now, if they could, Rodgers, now their team looks totally different. They have the firepower for sure. Breece Hall, he's a top running back in my book. The way he ran the football early in his rookie year shows that he can be dominant in the future. Hopefully he can come back healthy from the ACL tear he suffered this year. That's the question. But if he can get back to full health, this guy is the real deal. They have Michael Carter, who's a good running back out of the backfield, a nice pass catcher as well. And then the offensive line they've been building up. They have Elijah Vera Tucker, who's, top draft pick. They have other guys on the line, and that's kind of been solidified. Then the firepower at wide receiver. They have some weapons. They drafted Garrett Wilson in the top 10 last year. He's a really dynamic receiver. And then Elijah Moore, I know he was upset. I know he's been upset. I know he's been dealing with being upset. But if they brought in Rodgers, he might be a little more excited. He could be that slot guy that Rodgers loves so much. And then you have Corey Davis, who's kind of, a big body receiver, kind of a veteran, but a solid receiver for sure. And then the two tight ends, Conklin and Uzama. So there is firepower on offense for New York. If they had a quarterback that was consistent and a guy like Aaron Rodgers, that could really be a big piece for the Jets. Obviously, they'd have to give up some pieces to get them. I don't know if it'd be players or if it'd be a lot more draft picks. The Jets would be trading something, so maybe the Packers would get one of those receivers from them, maybe a different piece, defensive pieces. But the defense for the Jets is great too. I mean, they have Williams in the middle, they have Mosley behind them, and then they have Sauce Gardner behind him in the secondary. I mean, this defense is really stacked. I know they have LaMarcus Joyner in the at safety, so they really did a lot to kind of solidify the defense. And for Rodgers, it would really just be a plug and play situation, and a team that, they looked good when they had Mike White one game. He threw for over 300 yards and a couple touchdowns, and it was great. But if Rodgers could do that on a consistent basis, this Jets team does have all the other pieces that it needs to really be a threat in the AFC. For Rodgers, though, obviously you won't be playing against the Packers very often. I don't think they're scheduled to play next year. I don't know if that's something that would really be on the top of his list if he came back and wasn't a Packer. I know he said he wanted to retire a Packer, but we'll see. Are they going to move on with Jordan Love? To me, Jordan Love is ready. I liked what I saw when he played against Philly. I liked what I saw of him all season this year, just kind of the progression he has made. His throws are crisp, accurate, quick, all those things. And it seems like he has a rapport with these young guys, Dobbs and Watson. So I'm excited with whatever the Packers choose to do, bringing back 12 again. You can't hate that idea with how these young guys developed this year. But if they want to move on and see what Jordan Love can do and get some pieces for Aaron Rodgers and clear up all that cap space, if we trade him, that's a lot of money they save. Jordan Love's contract's not even close to what Aaron Rodgers' contract is. So it is definitely a big decision for Green Bay. Is Gutekunst going to decide, let's run it back one more year with Rodgers and his veteran core guys, Lewis and Cobb and Crosby, run it back one more time and see if these young guys can develop enough to make a push? Or are we done with the old guys? Are we going young and just running it with Jordan Love and letting Cobb and Lewis and Crosby and, Tanyan and Lazard go? Because those are basically Rodgers guys. They can kind of clear house, and it wouldn't be much of a rebuild because they have these young pieces coming up that have developed so much on offense and defense. Wyatt and Walker and Dobbs and Watson, and Zach Tom. I mean, they have pieces. Bakhtiari is due so much money. They need to figure that out. They could clear up a lot of space by kind of cutting the Rodgers ties and going younger, because they do have some of the building blocks underneath these guys that could really make a push. We'll see what they do. It is really going to be interesting what the Packers do the next 2 months or so before March, before free agency hits. Packers, Gutekunst, Matt LaFleur, Aaron Rodgers have a lot of decisions to make and a lot to work out. But, I mean, what package do you get back for Aaron Rodgers if you send him to the Jets? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. But that is definitely a big question. What will they get in return? Will it be an offensive package, a defensive package, a mixture, or just draft picks? Rodgers, if a guy like Stafford, can demand like a 2-1s or 3-1s or whatever, or Deshaun Watson gets 3-1s or whatever, what is Rodgers, supposed to get, especially with what Tyreek Hill got? So, I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what all these players end up being for the Packers, if they get a package back from the Jets or if they just get top draft picks, because I'm not sure where the Jets draft, but I know they didn't make the playoffs, and I'm guessing they have some other draft picks as well. So we will see what ends up happening. That Matt LaFleur tie is a piece to think about because of the offensive coordinator. The fact that we ran all those scrimmages with the Jets in the last couple of seasons. Aaron Rodgers really has a rapport with, Robert Saleh and some of the Jets coaching staff and just a lot of the other pieces of the Jets, the players. I mean, those scrimmages are a lot more intimate than the preseason games. You have a lot more time to talk and communicate and get to know guys and things like that. So the Jets players top to bottom with the coaching staff and the fact that they have the offensive weapons Rodgers would be looking for, maybe solidify the offensive line a little bit more, but they do have some pieces up there, and see how Breece Hall is doing, but the weapons on the outside, maybe they can bring in another guy, but there's a lot of options for the Jets. But if Rodgers does go there, that means that there's a lot of options for the Packers then at that point. I mean, that would clear up like $40 million or $50 million of cap space not having to pay Rodgers and just paying Jordan Love if we were trading him, and then we'd get pieces back and we could pay other guys, and other guys could restructure that need to, like Aaron Jones and Preston Smith and Jaire maybe a little bit. So guys could do that. If David Bakhtiari stays, he definitely has to restructure. But if Rodgers is gone, that does help a lot of things when it comes to salary cap. And I think Jordan Love is ready. I think he can play, and I'm excited to see what we do moving forward for sure. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. See you guys next time. Peace out. Go Pack, go. I trust whatever they do, so go.